Welcome to Vic's True Crime Stories. Today, we dive into a chilling tale of betrayal, deception, and the unraveling of a hidden criminal empire. This isn't just a story about crime, it's a story about love, trust, and the devastating consequences of lies. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode like this one. In the heart of Greenwich, Connecticut, where wealth and privilege mask dark secrets, one man's greed destroyed lives and brought down an entire crime syndicate. Gunshots echo through the abandoned halls of the Millbrook factory as police storm the building, their tactical gear glinting under harsh floodlights. In the corner of a dimly lit room, David Callahan stands cornered, desperation etched across his face. Clutching his young daughter Emma tightly, he uses her as a shield, his voice trembling with fear and resolve. "You won't take me alive," he growls, sweat dripping from his brow. This is no ordinary standoff. It's the culmination of years of deceit, manipulation, and corruption. So buckle up, because this is Shattered Facades. If you enjoyed this intro, give it a thumbs up and share this video with friends who love true crime stories like yours truly. It was a quiet morning in Greenwich, Connecticut, where the manicured lawns and sprawling estates whispered promises of perfection. Sarah Callahan woke up to the familiar hum of her life: a loving husband, 2 beautiful children, and a thriving career as a real estate agent. On the surface, everything seemed ideal. Her home was filled with laughter, her marriage appeared rock solid, and her friends envied her seemingly flawless existence. But beneath the polished veneer, cracks were beginning to form. Lately, Sarah had noticed subtle changes in David's behavior. Long work hours that stretched into nights, secretive phone calls taken in hushed tones, and an increasing distance between them. At first, she brushed it off as stress from his demanding job, but the nagging feeling of unease refused to fade. Meanwhile, at David's office, Lauren, the diligent administrative assistant, went about her daily routine. It was during one of these mundane tasks that she stumbled upon something unusual: a missing box of paper towels from the supply closet. Initially, it seemed like a trivial oversight, but when Lauren checked the inventory logs, she discovered discrepancies that shouldn't have been there. The numbers didn't add up, and the more she dug, the stranger things became. What started as a simple inquiry into office supplies soon led her to uncover anomalies in financial records. Transactions that didn't match company policies, payments routed through offshore accounts, and encrypted files hidden deep within the system. Lauren couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play. In another part of town, Jennifer Thompson lived a life far removed from Sarah's world of privilege. A single mother working tirelessly as a nurse, Jennifer believed she had found happiness with Daniel, a charming man who swept her off her feet years ago. Together, they shared a modest apartment and raised their young daughter, Emma. Unlike Sarah, Jennifer knew nothing of wealth or extravagant lifestyles. To her, Daniel was the love of her life, a man who provided for her family despite their humble means. She had no idea that the man she adored was none other than David Callahan, living a parallel life under a different name. As the days passed, Lauren's curiosity turned into determination. While cross-referencing documents, she stumbled upon encrypted files buried deep within the company database. These files hinted at offshore accounts, suspicious transfers, and connections to entities known for illicit activities. Alarmed by what she uncovered, Lauren confided in Sarah, hoping she might shed light on the mysterious transactions. Little did Lauren know, her findings would set off a chain reaction that would unravel not only David's secrets but also the lives of those closest to him. Sarah's world began to crumble when she found a cryptic note tucked inside one of David's briefcases. Written in bold letters, it simply read, "Trust no one." The word sent chills down her spine, igniting a fire of suspicion she couldn't ignore. Driven by a mix of fear and determination, Sarah decided to investigate further. She scoured through David's belongings, searching for answers. In his study, she unearthed bank statements showing deposits from unknown sources, emails exchanged with shadowy contacts, and evidence of lavish purchases made under fake names. Each discovery peeled back another layer of deception, revealing a side of David she never knew existed. To understand how David built such a complex web of lies, we must look back to the early days of his ascent. At first, his actions were small, fudging expense reports here, bending rules there. But over time, these minor infractions snowballed into larger transgressions. His vulnerability came not from weakness but from ambition. He rationalized every step along the way, convincing himself that success justified any means. As his greed grew unchecked, so too did his need for secrecy. He created multiple identities, compartmentalizing his life into separate worlds: his legitimate business persona, his secret criminal empire, and the families he kept hidden from each other. Each decision brought him closer to the edge, yet he pressed on, blinded by the promise of power and wealth. Did you know that many criminals start small, often rationalizing their first lie? Stick around to see how David's choices spiraled out of control. And remember, if you're loving this story, drop a comment below. Your feedback helps us create better content for you. Sarah's investigation deepened as she delved further into David's world. She spent countless sleepless nights poring over documents, tracing transactions, and piecing together the puzzle of her husband's double life. In her study, surrounded by scattered papers and open laptop tabs, Sarah found herself staring at a digital trail that painted a horrifying picture. The man she thought she knew was involved in money laundering, human trafficking, and other illegal activities on a scale she could scarcely comprehend. Emotional flashbacks often interrupted her focus. Memories of laughter-filled dinners, vacations planned with care, and intimate moments shared under the guise of love. These memories now felt tainted, like relics from a life that never truly existed. Each revelation tore another piece of her heart apart, yet it only fueled her resolve to uncover the truth. One evening, as Sarah sifted through encrypted files Lauren had handed over, she stumbled upon photos of David with another woman, a smiling Jennifer holding their daughter Emma. The sight struck her like a physical blow. Betrayal coursed through her veins, mingling with disbelief and anger. She replayed those images repeatedly, trying to reconcile the happy family before her eyes with the shattered remnants of her own life. This discovery wasn't just about infidelity. It was about an entire existence built on lies. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered to herself, "How could I not see this?" Meanwhile, Jennifer received the threatening letter. Its ominous tone left her trembling. Confused and terrified, she sought out Lauren, her trusted co-worker, for answers. Lauren listened intently, her expression growing increasingly grave as Jennifer recounted the details. When Lauren revealed the truth, that Daniel was none other than David Callahan, a man embroiled in organized crime, Jennifer felt her world collapse around her. How could the man she loved, the father of her child, be capable of such depravity? Her mind raced with questions, each one more painful than the last. As Jennifer processed this bombshell, Lauren urged her to cooperate with authorities. At first, Jennifer hesitated. Fear gripped her tightly. Fear for her safety, fear for Emma's future, and fear of losing the only life she knew. But after days of agonizing deliberation, she made the difficult decision to step forward. With Lauren's support, Jennifer provided critical information about David's secret life, helping law enforcement build a case against him. The alliance between Sarah and Lauren grew stronger as they worked tirelessly to expose David's crimes. They became an unstoppable force, combining Sarah's insider knowledge of David's personal life with Lauren's keen eye for detail in financial records. Their partnership wasn't without its challenges. Both women grappled with their own emotions, oscillating between rage and sorrow. Yet, their shared mission kept them grounded. Together, they uncovered evidence of David's involvement in the Callahan Group, a sprawling criminal organization responsible for orchestrating much of his illicit activity. Public scrutiny soon engulfed the case, turning it into a media circus. Headlines blared across newspapers and news channels, sensationalizing every twist and turn. For Sarah, the spotlight was suffocating. Friends who once admired her perfect life now whispered behind her back, questioning whether she'd known all along. Reporters camped outside her home, desperate for quotes or reactions. Despite the pressure, Sarah refused to let the noise drown out her pursuit of justice. She channeled her pain into action, working closely with investigators to ensure David faced the full weight of the law. Jennifer, too, bore the brunt of public attention. Her identity as David's secret wife became public knowledge, sparking outrage and pity in equal measure. Some viewed her as another victim of David's manipulation, while others accused her of complicity. Shielded by witness protection, Jennifer struggled to maintain her sanity amidst the chaos. Her greatest concern remained Emma, whose innocence hung precariously in the balance. Through therapy sessions and quiet conversations with Lauren, Jennifer began to rebuild her sense of self, finding strength in vulnerability. Law enforcement faced its own set of challenges. Ethical dilemmas arose as officers navigated the murky waters of high-profile cases. Should they prioritize securing convictions over protecting potential witnesses? Could they guarantee Jennifer and Emma's safety without compromising the investigation? These questions weighed heavily on detectives, forcing them to make tough decisions under intense scrutiny. Meanwhile, the legal system grappled with the complexity of prosecuting someone whose crimes spanned multiple jurisdictions and involved international entities. Every move required precision and strategy, lest the case unravel prematurely. Psychologically, the toll on all three women was immense. Sarah wrestled with guilt, wondering if she had ignored warning signs earlier. Her anger simmered beneath the surface, occasionally erupting in fiery confrontations with anyone who dared question her motives. Jennifer battled feelings of inadequacy, questioning how she allowed herself to be ensnared in David's web. And Lauren, though removed from the immediate drama, carried the burden of knowing secrets that could destroy lives. Vulnerable dialogues between them brought these struggles to light, revealing raw emotions rarely seen in public. One particularly poignant moment occurred during a late-night meeting at Lauren's apartment. Exhausted but resolute, the three women sat together, discussing their next steps. Sarah broke the silence, her voice laced with anguish. "I keep thinking about our wedding day, the vows we exchanged, the promises he made. And now I don't even know who he is." Jennifer nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "It's like my whole life was a lie. Everything I thought I knew, it's gone." Lauren placed a reassuring hand on both their shoulders. "But here we are, together, fighting back. That has to mean something. What would you do if you discovered your partner was leading a secret double life? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Vic's True Crime Stories for more gripping tales like this one. As the investigation intensified, the stakes only grew higher. The women prepared themselves for the inevitable confrontation with David, knowing that the truth would come at a great cost, but also believing that justice demanded nothing less. The operation began before dawn, a meticulously planned raid targeting multiple locations tied to the Callahan Group. SWAT teams descended on warehouses, office buildings, and safe houses scattered across the region. The sound of shattering glass and barked commands filled the air as law enforcement swept through each site, seizing evidence and apprehending key members of the syndicate. It was a coordinated effort designed to dismantle the organization piece by piece, but David had anticipated this move. He knew the walls were closing in, and he wasn't about to go down without a fight. In a desperate bid to regain control, David made his boldest and most reckless move yet. He kidnapped Emma. Using the chaos of the raids as cover, he slipped away from his hiding place and spirited the young girl out of her schoolyard during recess. Jennifer received a chilling voicemail moments later. David's voice, low and menacing, demanding that she withdraw all cooperation with authorities or face dire consequences for their daughter. The threat sent shockwaves through everyone involved in the case. For Sarah and Jennifer, it was a personal violation, a reminder that David's cruelty knew no bounds. As the clock ticked down, Sarah and Jennifer worked alongside law enforcement to track David's movements. With Lauren's help, they pieced together clues from intercepted communications and surveillance footage. The trail led them to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, a decrepit structure shrouded in shadows. Inside, David waited, Emma clutched tightly in his arms, a gun pressed against her temple. His plan was simple: use Emma as leverage to negotiate his escape. But Sarah and Jennifer refused to back down. The final confrontation unfolded in heart-stopping intensity. Police surrounded the warehouse, floodlights cutting through the darkness and casting long shadows across the concrete floor. Negotiators attempted to reason with David, promising leniency if he surrendered peacefully. But David was beyond reason. Cornered and desperate, he ranted about betrayal, accusing both women of destroying everything he'd built. His voice cracked with emotion as he pleaded for understanding, claiming his actions were driven by love, not greed. "I did it for us," he shouted, his eyes wild with desperation. "For our families." Sarah stepped forward then, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "You didn't do anything for us, David," she said, her words cutting like knives. "You lied, you stole, you destroyed lives, including ours. And now you're holding an innocent child hostage because you can't accept the consequences of your choices." Her tone shifted, hardening with resolve. "Let her go, David. This ends here." Jennifer followed suit, her voice trembling but resolute. "Emma is my life, David. You'll never take that away from me again." Tears streamed down her face, but there was no mistaking the steel behind her words. "If you care even one bit about her, you'll let her go right now." David hesitated, torn between his instincts for survival and the weight of his own guilt. In that moment, something seemed to break within him. His grip on the gun loosened slightly, his resolve faltering under the combined force of their accusations. But just as hope flickered, a gunshot echoed through the warehouse. Chaos erupted as police stormed the building, tackling David and securing Emma. She burst into tears, running straight into Jennifer's waiting arms. Mother and daughter clung to each other, relief washing over them like a tidal wave. Yet, even as the immediate danger passed, the tension lingered. Subtle clues hinted at larger questions still unanswered. Who else within the Callahan group remained free? Were there accomplices operating in plain sight, waiting to strike? The investigation continued, uncovering new layers of corruption and deceit with every passing day. While David's capture marked a significant victory, it was clear that the story was far from over. This story is far from over. While David has been captured, there are still loose ends to tie up. Make sure you stick around until the end, and tell your friends to watch too. Share this link with anyone who loves thrilling true crime dramas. As Sarah, Jennifer, and Lauren regrouped, exhausted but determined, they braced themselves for what lay ahead. Justice had been served, but the battle for truth was only beginning. In the months and years after, life changes for Sarah, Jennifer, and Lauren. Each woman finds a new purpose and builds a stronger life. Sarah becomes an advocate for victims of domestic abuse and financial fraud. She uses her own experience to help others who have been betrayed by people they trusted. Through her work, she helps many people start over and finds a new sense of fulfillment that she never had before. Jennifer focuses on raising Emma under witness protection. She works hard to make sure Emma grows up in a safe and loving environment, far from the past. Though their lives are now hidden, Jennifer fills their days with happiness and stability. Her journey is one of healing, learning to trust again, and finding strength even when it's hard. Lauren starts a career in investigative journalism. She uncovers corporate corruption and brings hidden truths to light. Her passion for exposing wrongdoing grows after her experiences with David's case. Lauren becomes a voice for those who can't speak for themselves, holding powerful people accountable. David sits in prison, writing letters to his daughters, hoping to repair the relationships he broke. His words sound sorry, but they don't mean much to those he hurt. His actions leave a lasting impact on many lives, showing how greed and ambition can destroy everything. This case starts important conversations about trust, power, and the systems that let crimes like these happen. It makes people think about how to create a world where trust isn't so easily broken and justice reaches everyone. These talks aren't easy, but they're necessary. As time goes on, the women grow in ways they didn't expect. They face challenges but also find triumphs. They learn that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering, dealing with pain, and moving forward with hope. Each carries scars, but these scars show their strength and resilience. It shows how lies are uncovered and truths come out. It reminds us that even after great pain, there's always a chance to grow, connect, and start again. Thanks for watching this episode of Vic's True Crime Stories. If you liked it, please subscribe and turn on notifications for more episodes. Share this video with friends who love true crime stories. Until next time, keep seeking the truth.